On.
I need help with some chewing. Are you up for it?
Some chewing.
Yep.
Sure. What are we chewing?
Yes, because it's funny because I want to piggyback on the property right idea. Okay, because I was reading Understanding Objectivism.
Yep.
And in the book, I found out that I have an intrinsic view of property right. Okay. And in the book, Leonard Peikoff said, if you are swimming in the ocean and you happen to go on an island and someone is there, say it is my property, so you cannot go there. You literally say, well, you just hope to kill him first before he kills you. And I was like, when I was reading this, I was, oh, well, there is something I'm not understanding, because so I dig a little deeper and I understand now that this particular situation is null because there is no society. So property right in that context doesn't apply. Am I correct so far?
Yes, it's an emergency. There's no context of society, and you cannot use your property to, you cannot, in the name of defending your property rights, cause somebody else grave harm. So for example, a different example would be.
Okay, because just hold on, because I came up with another one.
Okay.
Which could be closer to reality. Okay. I say closer because it's still far-fetched, but sure. Let's suppose that we have a objectivist society. Like when I mean by that is like capitalism, where government is only there to protect you and property is really owned by people, private people. And let's suppose I'm making a road trip down to the US and I came to Texas and my car broke. So I took my cell phone and no battery, so I need help. And I saw a city along the road further down, so I go there. But to my surprise, the city is run by racists, and they are all black people, and they don't want to help me. But if they don't help me, I'll die.
Yep.
So is it the same situation as the island, or since there is clearly a society there with property and all that, the same logic apply, or it doesn't?
No, I mean, you're creating a sci-fi example again, because it's a capitalist country, but somehow this society full of racists who actually, while they're racists, they completely protect property rights and they are completely pro-capitalism and they live in this flourishing city somehow. I mean, none of that makes sense, right? None of that is consistent and congruent. But look, if you're on the verge of death, then you got to do what you got to do to survive. And if that means stealing somebody's phone and making a phone call and then returning that phone to them, then that's what you do. And given that it's a capitalist society, remember, then the legal system will punish you, but the punishment is not going to be very large because you were dying and nobody would help you, and you just did this to survive. So you'd be slapped on the wrist and have to pay a fine or something, and you'd have to leave, right? So that's you realize that you're breaking the law. In a sense, you realize you're breaking somebody else's rights. You're willing to suffer the consequences because in this context, your life depends on it.
Okay.
You're not going to just sit by the side of the road and let yourself die because these people are being irrational, right? Because they're racist.
Okay. So
again, that would never happen because no such society could exist.
No, I know it was just like the principle that I was trying to understand, like where you draw the line, because the follow-up question is similar. So instead of a racist society, let's suppose that you lost your job, like here where I live in Montreal. Well, I lived in Montreal. Now I don't live there anymore. But there was the homeless people that literally broke glasses from the commerce to get arrested, and they were put in prison because it was author in winters, and they get free meals. So my questioning is, at one point, should you accept that someone breaks the law to help themselves survive? You know where I'm going? Because if I can quote unquote do whatever it takes
But
to survive,
that's so removed from the other examples, because now you're taking somebody who's clearly irrational, somebody who's clearly not productive, somebody who's clearly not seeking their own rational long-term self-interest. Then it's meaningless. They can never do anything. They can't do anything right. So you can't accept what they're doing because they put themselves into this position. It's not a rational person who an accident happened, he fell out of a boat and he lands up on an island, or you got stuck in your car and you didn't mean it and you're generally productive and you have a phone but you ran out of batteries. It's not a rational person. It's you're now taking about irrationality, unproductivity, immorality, and you're saying when can they do XYZ? They can never be right in a sense.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, in the first two example, I could be a quote unquote good person, a rational person, but the circumstance is not right for me, so I need quote unquote help. And the third one is more something like is perpetual. It's something that you created because of your habit or something like that, and therefore it's for that reason that you cannot do like break the glass or something like that, because it's something repetitive. You're not productive, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I understand better. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Thank you for listening or watching the Yaron Brook Show. If you'd like to support the show, we make it as easy as possible for you to trade with me. You get value from listening. You get value from watching. Show your appreciation. You can do that by going to yaronbrookshow.com/support, by going to Patreon, Subscribestar, Locals, and just making a appropriate contribution on any one of those channels. Also, if you'd like to see the Yaron Brook Show grow, please consider sharing our content and, of course, subscribe. Press that little bell button right down there on YouTube so that you get an announcement when we go live. And for those of you who are already subscribers and those of you who are already supporters of the show, thank you. I very much appreciate it.